Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I haven't covered a Mills Mall on the channel in quite some time, so whilst we're checking out malls in the Baltimore region, let's take a walk through the Arundel Mills Mall in Hanover, Maryland. This is a classic Mills Mall that's not only thriving but still retains some character, and ended up becoming my favorite Mills property that I've visited so far. So join me for a walk through the Arundel Mills Mall and let's see what it holds in store for us during my visit in May 2024. The story of Arundel Mills would begin in the late 1990s when the Mills Corporation would purchase land in Hanover, Maryland, just 7 miles south of the Baltimore-Washington airport, and plans would be announced for a new massive shopping mall to be built in the area called Arundel Mills, which would get its name from the county it sits in, Anne Arundel County. Although there were legal hurdles to overcome throughout its construction, due to concerns with traffic as well as environmental regulations, construction would continue to progress throughout 1999, with plans to open the mall within the new millennium. Arundel Mills would officially open its doors for the first time on November 17, 2000. The mall would feature roughly 250 stores within its 1.9 million square feet of retail space, making it the largest mall in the state of Maryland. Arundel Mills would feature the classic Mills Mall racetrack layout with 5 different neighborhoods, which would each feature a sponsor when the mall opened, including Coca-Cola, Comcast, Discover Card, the Baltimore Sun, and Toyota. On opening day, it would also feature a 24-screen Egyptian-themed Cinemark movie theater, as well as other larger name-brand shops, such as Burlington Coat Factory, TJ Maxx, Books A Million, and Bed Bath & Beyond, just to name a few, and other outlet retailers such as Old Navy Outlet. However, more Tenants would continue to open throughout the mall in 2001. In August 2001, Medieval Times Dinner Theater would open their first location inside a mall at Arundel Mills, and in October 2001, Bass Pro Shops would open their Arundel Mills location. Unlike other malls within the Baltimore region, Arundel Mills would focus more on outlet shops and entertainment. However, the mall would still feature several of your traditional mall stores, such as Claire's, Spencer's, GNC, GameStop, Bath & Body Works, Hot Topic, and many more. It would also feature a full food court, as well as other sit-down restaurants. In 2004, Dave & Buster's would open a location at Arundel Mills, taking over a space that was originally a Jillian's. And around the same time, an H&M would join the mall, and in 2006, Best Buy would open a location at Arundel Mills. However, around this time, the Mills Corporation would be under investigation due to its financial problems. As a result, all properties owned by the Mills Corporation, including Arundel Mills, would see their ownership go over to Simon. As of the making of this video, Simon still owns Arundel Mills. Arundel Mills would be very successful throughout the 2000s. It would become so successful that when Maryland voters approved slot machine gambling in 2008, proposals for a new casino hotel to be built on the Arundel Mills property would be put on ballot for the November 2010 election. And after it would pass, construction would begin. Live casino and hotel would be completed in September 2012. With a grand opening of its first phase happening a little earlier on June 6th that year. It would feature over 4,700 gaming slots, along with a 310-room hotel and a 5,000-space parking garage across its 380,000 square feet. It would also feature several dining options of its own, including the Cheesecake Factory, Phillips Seafood, Coho Korean Barbecue, I hope I pronounced that right, as well as a prime rib steakhouse, and it would be positioned right beside the mall. Now, this was the first of 3 really pushy kiosk workers that was really trying to get us to demo their product. We would not budge, and you'll hear me rant a little more about that towards the end of the video. Whilst this was happening, the mall itself would gain some new tenants, including Forever 21 in 2013, which would replace the former FYE Superstore. FYE continues to operate in the mall as of the making of this video, just in a smaller tenant space. The rest of the 2010s would be pretty quiet up until 2020, when the mall would have to shut down for a few months during the COVID lockdown. When the mall reopened, a minor renovation would take place throughout the property, updating the mall's paint job to give us the look we have today, which would result in the loss of the colorful ceilings. Besides this, not much else would change, thankfully. Although the mall itself would continue to remain successful, several stores would come and go by this point. In February 2021, Bed Bath & Beyond would close their Arundel Mills location, and in October 2021, Best Buy would also close their Arundel Mills store. Thankfully, these spaces would be replaced with new tenants. The former Best Buy space would become a Primark in September 2023, and the former Bed Bath & Beyond would be replaced by MD Furniture. In May 2025, Forever 21 would close all of their stores, including the Arundel Mills location, after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. As of today, Arundel Mills operates with well over 90% occupancy and is very much thriving. It contains a Bass Pro Shops, Books A Million, Burlington Coat Factory, The Children's Place, H&M, MD Furniture, Saks Off 5th, Primark, TJ Maxx, Ulta Beauty, Sun and Ski Sports, Dave & Buster's, Medieval Times Dinner Theater, and Cinemark Egyptian 24 theaters as its anchors. I know that was a lot. Along with over 250 places to shop and dine throughout the mall. There's even a Lego store here. Arundel Mills is definitely not going anywhere anytime soon.
Despite being a pretty typical Mills Mall, Arundel Mills retained some of its character and flair, and was more colorful than other, more modern and bland-looking Mills Malls that had been recently renovated, such as Colorado Mills. This mall, like any other Mills Mall, was massive and felt like it went on forever. Walking from one side of this mall to the other seemed to take ages. Did I mention this mall also had a really interesting ancient Egyptian-themed Cinemark theater? This is what really captured my attention. While having some of the common trappings of a Mills Mall, such as being overran with kiosks and crazy salespeople that would chase you down to sell a perfume, we enjoyed our time at Arundel Mills, as it offered a unique experience compared to many of the other malls we visited, despite being more bland visually.
Now, I did mention this in the beginning of the video, but Arundel Mills was by far my favorite Mills property I've been to of the 4 Mills malls I got to visit, which generally have not been my favorite malls I've ever been to. Most of them feel kind of the same, and 2 of them have been dead malls. But with that being said, Arundel Mills is both thriving and still retains some interesting characteristics, such as the neighborhood signage, the Egyptian-themed Cinemark movie theater, the Bass Pro Shops, the Medieval Times Dinner Theater, and has quite a unique tenant lineup. And although the colorful ceilings are now gone, the mall itself still felt very pleasant and welcoming and nice to walk through, despite being a little bit more bland than some of the other malls we saw on this trip. Which is great to see, considering that this mall wasn't even originally on our list of stops to see on this trip. We ended up here because this mall was only about 5 minutes from our hotel, and it was on our way to our next stop, which you will see in the video after this. So we figured, since we were in the area, we figured we'd make a trip here, and I don't regret it. It was definitely worth a visit. I think it's also worth mentioning that this footage was all recorded on a Tuesday at around 11:30 a.m., and the mall was this busy. Yeah, it was this busy still. Sure, it's not the most crowded it can get, but the mall itself was still busy on a Tuesday at 11 a.m. in May 2024. So that's always a good sign and proves that this mall is not going anywhere anytime soon. And as we pass by the second kiosk that was really trying to get us to try their product, now is my time to give my quick rant and one thing I don't like about these Mills malls that are doing well, and generally it's a complaint I have with a good chunk of Simon-owned malls. It's not all of them, but it's some of them for sure. The kiosk workers here are really pushy, and that's one thing that definitely can deter people away. I don't like that. I know a lot of people don't like that. And I know it's one thing to advertise your product, but chasing people down and forcing people to try your product is not a way to get sales. That's just going to cause people to not want to try your product. So if there's one thing I would change here, the kiosk workers really need to chill. Other than that, this is a really nice mall. This was a great way to start off day 3 of the Maryland trip, and I'm glad I made a stop here. This also gives me time to mention that a mall like this with a tenant lineup like this is pretty much destined for success at this point. And I think if some of these malls really want to focus on the retail aspect, they need to go with the approach that a mall like Arundel Mills has, with a very diverse tenant lineup, as well as a ton of entertainment options. And as we begin to wind things down for this video, I would like to ask you, what are your thoughts on Arundel Mills? Do you have any memories shopping here? Do you have any thoughts on this mall? What has changed since I shot this footage last year? Be sure to leave that in a comment down below. And if there's anything I didn't mention in this video that you would like people to know about Arundel Mills, also leave that in the comments down below. It would be greatly appreciated. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for watching my video tour of the Arundel Mills Mall in Hanover, Maryland. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like as it greatly helps support the channel. And whilst you're at it, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more mall videos like this to be released to more viewers like you. I have a lot more content coming to the channel very soon with a lot more stuff you're not going to want to miss. So be sure to subscribe for more malls to come your way. I also have an Instagram linked in the description with sneak peeks of future videos coming to the channel. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, stay awesome, and have a blessed day. I will see you all in my next video.